Hello student, we are going to discuss about functions in C today. Functions in a C today. What is mean by this function? A function is a self-contained block of code that performs a particular task. Means whatever you want to perform, you can write it in a function. Generally, when we use this function, suppose if you have a large task, then what you can do? You can do one thing. You can divide that task into small subtasks and execute this small subtask, right? And so that you get one advantage of this approach. You can reuse that program again whenever you want. And another one is what? Debugging and finding error becomes easy, right? If you write a whole code at one go, means you write whole code in a main function, then what will be problem there? You can get errors, and finding error and debugging that program becomes too difficult, so that it's better to use functions whenever you need. And whenever you need that function, you can call that function. There are two types of function. First one is library function and second one is user defined function. Library function means the function which are already defined. Printf and scanf, both functions are already defined. How you use this function? You have to include stdio.h at file in the beginning, right? And second function is user defined function. Main is a user defined function. You write definition of main by your own. So main is the example of user defined function, and you can write your own functions also in a user defined function. There are three elements of this functions: function definition, function call, function declaration. Function definition means what? You write what you want to perform in that function. Suppose you are writing addition function, what you will write in addition function? That addition function is for performing addition of two numbers. Second one is what? Function call. Okay, writing definition is fine, but you have to call that function whenever you need it in your program. So this is what function call. And function declaration is what? It is for compiler. This function declaration is for compiler, because function call is fine, definition is fine. Like variable, you have to declare that function. Okay. Now this is what definition of a function. There is syntax for how you will define a function. You can define a function by specifying function name, function type, list of parameter. See, this is the syntax of definition of function. This is function type. Function type is what? Data type. What is the data type of your function? What value your function is returning? Means you can specify it as int, float, void, char, anything. Data type. Next one is what? Function name. Name, you can specify name of your function and with a parameter list, whatever parameters are there. In opening and closing brace, you can write local variable declaration. Whenever you need some function, there may be case where you need to define variables, so you can define local variable. Then executable statement and return statement. Return statement is what? Whatever is your function type, you are returning that value. Means your function is returning something. This is what? Return statement. Function definition, you have to write in opening and closing braces. Means your what function definition is what your function is doing. Means your requirement, whatever is the requirement, you are using, you are writing it in a function definition. See, this is example of function definition. Here I am defining a function addition. This is what integer. Function type is what integer, means this function is returning integer value. It means this. Name of function is addition and parameters are integer a comma integer b. These are the parameters of function. Opening brace c is c. This is what I am declaring local variable to this function. Means scope of this variable is only within this function, opening and closing braces. C is we are storing addition of a plus b in a variable c, and whatever is the result I am returning that c variable. Means what? This function returns addition of a plus b. Okay. These arguments, this is what int a int b is the argument is to this function, and it is called as formal argument. Next one is what? Function call. Definition of function is done, right? But only definition is not enough. Whenever you need that function in your program, you have to call that function. Okay, this is an example. We have already defined addition function. Now in this main, I am going to call this addition function, and addition function is returning what? Addition of a two number. It is returning, so that you have to store somewhere. So I am storing result in a y function. So addition comma 10 comma 5 is what? Actual argument to the function. In a function definition, arguments are formal argument, and these are actual arguments to a function, and it is just uh, displaying addition is whatever is the result of this function. Next is what? Your function declaration, function prototype. Function declaration is also known as function prototype. Like variable, all functions in a program must be declared before they are invoked, right? You can't use any variable directly. You have to declare variable before use. Same way, you have to declare function before main. This is for compiler. If you won't declare this function before main, then compiler will throw an error. Function declaration consists of four parts. Function type. This is what your function type. This is function name and parameter list followed by semicolon. Semicolon is important. In function declaration or function prototype, you give semicolon. In function definition, you write definition, what that function is going to do in a function definition within opening and closing curly braces. See, this is syntax for function prototype. Function type, function name, parameter list. You know that what is function type. It could be int, float, char, whatever your function is returning value. Here, example of same function. Integer, function type is what? Integer. Function name addition, and parameter list int m, int n. Means what are the parameters going that function will going to use. This is what? Function prototype. See, this is an example. Here you are, by this point you know that what is function prototype. You have to declare that function before use, like variables, right? This is what function prototype. I told you, you have to declare function before main. So you have declare this function before main. This is you have declare function before main. Addition int m, int n. This is what? Function prototype. Signature of a function, you can see that. Now void main, you know, as you know that in a C programming, control starts from main function. Means whatever execution is that starts from main. See, opening braces, control will come to this point, integer y, variable y is declared. Now here function call is there. Means what? At this point, whenever y comes, at this point addition 10 comma 5, this is what my function call. This function call, then at this point control will come at this point, because you have called that function and where you have written definition of function here. So control comes at this point. What is written here? Integer n, integer addition int m, int n. Okay. Now, what are the parameters of addition of function? Addition function 10 and 5. Here integer m is what? 10 and integer n is what? 5. Now, okay, means m is equals to 10, n equals to 5. Here what? Integer c variable is declared, and what c is storing? C is performing addition of m plus m. M is what? 10 and n is what? 5. So C is storing value 15. 10 plus 5 is what? 15. Now C is having value 15. Return C. Return statements is what? This function is returning some value, and what value this function is returning? C is what? 15. Means this function is returning value 15. Now this function is returning here 15. So y becomes 15 here. Sorry. So next line is what? The addition is %d, and you know that what is y is having value 15. So this program will give you output the addition is 15. So got it? What is function prototype, what is function call, and what is function definition? In your exam, this question is what is function, and you have to write syntax for declare function definition and function prototype. These are all the questions which in your exam can ask. Okay. Now in our next lecture we will discuss about what is actual argument and what is formal argument. I already told you this is what function call, and function call is having, this is what your function call, and these arguments are actual arguments, and in a function definition arguments are called as formal argument. Okay, thank you.